Welcome to T-Lokes, Tucson's local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and in each episode, we embark on a journey to connect with the passionate minds behind the businesses and nonprofits that make our community thrive. Join me as I sit down with the owners, visionaries, and change makers who pour their hearts into shaping the local landscape. We explore the challenges, triumphs, and unique journeys that define Tucson's business community. From the corner coffee shop to the innovative startups and impactful nonprofits, T-Lokes is your window into the diverse stories that make our city special. Tune in and get ready to get connected. This is T-Lokes. Howdy, folks, and welcome to T-Lokes, your Tucson local business podcast. I'm your host, L. Connor McEverly, and here with me in the studio today is the owner of Always Faithful Home Inspections, your veteran-founded, woman-owned, one-stop shop for complete and comprehensive home inspection. It is my sincere pleasure to invite InterNACHI and IAC2 certified expert home inspectress Celia Webb. Celia, thank you so much for being on the show. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, Connor. Thank you for having me here. It was a great morning, networking with other people that work with us as well. I love connecting with others. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Yeah, it was a good networking breakfast.
Yes, it was delicious too.
One of the best ways to network, in my opinion.
I agree.
So we're here today to talk about your business. So talk to me a little bit about the mission of Always Faithful Home Inspections and what set you on this path.
Yes. So I was flipping houses years ago, and I needed to have more information for myself on what a good investment opportunity looked like. And so my friend Nick and I partnered on a couple of deals, and then I started working with him. It was a great way to serve our clients, knowing what type of issues homes have that can cost thousands of dollars and what is merely aesthetic. And of course, we have our own homes with their own quirks, and identifying things that can affect daily living in our clients' homes really makes me and my team pay attention to what our buyers are getting into when they buy their houses. We want to give them the clearest picture of what they will be dealing with once they live there.
Absolutely. And that's really interesting. And so with Always Faithful Home Inspections, where do your services start and stop? What's your process when you walk into a house and inspect it?
Absolutely. We always try to get there half hour earlier, just for the convenience of our realtors and the buyers. And we get started with the exterior. We go on the roof as much as we are permitted, very carefully. There's a special training for walking on roofs. So we inspect the roof, the outside walls, the flashing, the drainage, any issues that may come up with that may build over time. Like if there's a tree nearby that is dropping leaves, you may start getting water slow down on your roof, and then it's going to go inside. So even though the tree is separate from the house, it can definitely have adverse effects on it. Walls outside, if there's vegetation contacting, what type of materials are used to build, how they withstand the elements, especially the sun. The sun is the biggest thing here in Tucson, and then surrounding areas, because we go to a lot of areas in southern Arizona.
Right.
Of course, the foundation, what type it is, how it's constructed, if there is drainage issues around the house that may affect the foundation itself, because, if your foundation is not good, the whole house can come apart.
Oh, man. And wow. So it seems like you guys really take like a whole look at, a whole property to see it as like a full ecosystem and how it all works together.
Absolutely. How everything interacts with each other. It is a general inspection. We are generalists. I tell people I'm like the primary care provider. I will check your AC. I will check the gas line, the plumbing, everything that is visual and non-invasive. If you ask me what the insulation in the wall says, unless I dig a hole in there, I'm not going to be able to tell you. But we're not allowed to do that. But then I can also refer you, if you have an electrical problem, I will say, you need to call an electrician. So I'm the primary care provider, and, they don't usually diagnose you with something. They send you to a specialist for it. So I do have a network of people that I can refer to. And that makes it really, really exciting, because I may not have the solution for you, but I know somebody who can.
And that's so helpful to have, and to have that generalist look at it, and to be able to pick those small pieces that need more attention, that's huge.
Yes.
And, I think our listeners can already hear, like, this is a very valuable broad spectrum inspection on their homes.
Absolutely.
But I'd like to ask you, and what your opinion is on what about your business makes you stand out from the rest?
Yes, definitely the fact that it is owned by a Hispanic, bilingual, immigrant, law enforcement survivor woman, but it was founded by a military veteran. I can provide services to our Hispanic community in fluent Spanish, and of course our current and former military and law enforcement members, and we do offer a discount for all of our first responders.
Fantastic. So considering your personal experiences from, starting from flipping houses to starting to gain all of this knowledge and see how, someone's property functions as a whole, considering these personal experiences, how does this affect your approach to conducting your business?
Yes, so it is very different. I'm able to offer an opinion for people who are buying a brand new house that they just want to be able to move in and live with their young kids. But I'm also able to offer an opinion on somebody who is investing in a house because they're going to flip it. So it is a very broad way of looking at things. I a lot of times I want to know, what do you want to use this house for? Because there have been houses that I go in and it's like, you're going to flip this house, right? And they're like, no, we want to live in it. I'm like, I don't know about that. And it's not my job to tell them whether to buy it or not. It's just my job to tell them the condition of the house at the moment that I'm there. So yes, a lot of houses are livable, but you're going to require a lot of work. And it really depends on the person, because there are people that buy houses that they're going to flip, but they're going to live in them at the time. So if it's, the middle of winter, you may want to have a heat source. If it is the middle of summer, you want to have a cooling source. And a lot of houses that are going to be flipped, they don't have it. But it is different for each person what they're going to do with it. So when people ask me, would you buy this house? Like, well, would I buy it to live in it, or would I buy it as an investment? The answer is different. And of course, how much money you have to put into it. So my experience in buying a house brand new, which I did when I moved to Tucson, was way different than when I was buying a house to flip. So I can give you an opinion, but you really should take it for what it is. It's just an opinion. The decision is ultimately yours.
Fair enough. But it's always good to listen to the opinion of a professional, eh?
Right?
Yeah. Yes. So looking over the lifespan of your business, what was a significant milestone that you hit, or what was a moment where you felt like, oh yeah, this is all coming together?
I started doing it with my friend, and it was a great experience. But it was a sobering day when I was let go of the company, because I was working for the company, but I was given some agents to work with, so I didn't have to start from zero. The reason was that my former boss and friend was overwhelmed and wanted to be a solopreneur after working with several people under his belt. But I understood that, and I continued to work. But then he contacted me a few months later and asked me to buy his company because he wanted to just retire from inspecting. And I was very lucky that when I bought the company, the very same day, I hired my first fellow inspector that my former boss also trained. So I knew that he was well trained. Mm-hmm. But then I realized that when I really realized that this was my thing, was when I kept getting people coming back to me because they liked my work, not just because of the legacy that he had built. So a friend of mine told me recently, yes, it was given to you on a silver platter. I didn't have to start from zero. But if you weren't any good, you would not be successful in getting more business on your own as well. So I will take the company, So I will take the compliment and strive to improve every day, because I do want to continue my education. And we do this, we continue our education, and we are able to offer several services that other companies don't. So we are able to get more clients on our side. Definitely the most rewarding part for me is the fact that some people come to me because I speak Spanish when their clients don't speak much English at all. Right. And then that's the only reason they chose me sometimes, or some other inspectors referred me because I speak Spanish. Right. And then they stayed with me because they liked my work. So that's really, It's sobering and it's humbling, but I definitely I feel good about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and I think that's I personally, I think that's super impressive and speaks a lot about your persistence and skill and expertise. Like, it's like, not that I know anything about sailing or boats, but in my mind, it's like, most people start by sailing on like a small boat, and instead you're getting like this full galleon,
Yes.
you're working with this big business, and it takes a lot to make that work. But I mean, it seems pretty clear that you're navigating through it fantastically.
I was very well trained. I was extremely happy to have this friend in my life, and I have a lot to be thankful for.
That's really great.
Mm-hmm.
What was one of the most memorable houses you inspected, either for good or for bad? What's one that really sticks out in your mind?
I still have nightmares about this one. We were called to do a fourplex on a Friday afternoon at 3:00 in the summer.
Yeah.
And it was, oh my gosh, there was everything wrong with it. I cannot believe it was legal to have people living there. The swamp coolers were leaking, so they made the roof leak. The swamp cooler was only providing air to 2 rooms instead of 4 rooms. And then the heater only provided heat to the other 2 rooms. The windows, they were wood. They didn't open. They were broken. The walls had termites, or they had holes. There was even a place where I had to ask the tenants, like, how do you turn on this light? And the lady comes over and she kicks the outlet below where the light switch is. She's like this, and she kicks it and the light turns on.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, there was everything wrong with it. It took me and my, I was training another inspector. It took us 5 hours to do that. And we were working in the dark, and it was good to have him, because, we checked the weather stripping. The weather stripping was missing. The doors had holes. I mean, it was ridiculous. Everything was wrong with it. Because, we talk about what's good, what's bad, and what's ugly, but this had everything. Like 3-4 write-ups in one window. And there's, 3 windows in each room or something. It's like, it just took forever. It was traumatizing, really.
Yeah, that sounds horrifying. Did they end up like destroying the building?
I don't know. A lot of times I don't hear about it, but then it was an investor who was buying it, and I think that's the only time that I said I would not buy this.
Right.
Because it was just in such bad shape.
Yeah. That sounds memorable. That sounds super
Yes.
memorable. And
I think my hands are sweating just thinking about it.
So, shifting gears slightly, what do you think is maybe one of the most common issues that you run into with a home that most people don't think about?
I think it would depend on the age of the home. A lot of times we see, like in the polybutylene era, houses built between 1978 and 1997. A lot of times they have poly pipes in them. And what I learned from a plumber is that not all poly is bad. It just depends on the joints that they had, because they started having problems and then they fixed them. And so there are some houses that have polybutylene pipes in them that are perfectly fine. And there are others that just explode in the middle of the night. So the problem with that is that sometimes when they update the polybutylene pipes to copper or Aquapex nowadays, they don't do the whole thing. So if there is, poly buried in the insulation in the attic, and I couldn't reach that part of the attic, there may be a foot of poly when everything else is renewed, and that might be the 1 foot that gives you trouble. So it is difficult to tell on those. Or if I see poly, I tell them, hey, there's poly here. But that doesn't mean it's a bad poly. It's just, I guess it's the luck of the draw.
Right. That's interesting. So, Celia, when someone is trying to sell their house, or when they're about to buy a house and they purchase your services, what kind of services do that all entail?
Yeah, so we, of course, offer the general home inspection, but a lot of times they will call us back because I have an automated email where it's like, hey, if you haven't considered these ancillary services, let us know. So we do have a sewer scope that we can check into the sewer for you. Sometimes we have to go through the roof, but that's fine. And I always tell people that it's a good idea because we have seen new construction where for some reason the builder didn't connect it to the county line. Go figure. Or I have seen, and this was back in 2020, I saw a 2018 house that was clogged because there was a tree in the front that the roots went in there.
Wow.
And then I have seen, not 20, I have seen 1950s houses that are completely clear, that have no problem, but you don't know until you get it. Right. We also are certified in termite inspections, so we can inspect the if there's termites, with destroying organisms. We have found some mushrooms in some fascia boards. It's interesting to see those. Yeah. Drywood termites, subterranean termites. So we have our certification on that. We do also inspect pools.
Okay.
So if your house has a pool, we can also check that one out. And we also are certified in mold. So if we see microbial growth, we can test it. A lot of times when you see it in the shower, it's not a big deal. You clean it, especially in like some of the crevices. But if we see it like in the walls or behind where the shower is, we don't know if it's coming from behind the shower because it leaked or if it's coming from the steam that is in there. It's always good to test it because some people are like, well, it's mold. You missed mold, like now mold can grow in 3 days and we can definitely test it. We can add it on site as well because we are certified in all of those systems. We are certified in all of those services. So like I found mold in the enclosure for the air handler the other day, and I was able to add it on site, especially because the lady who was buying the house had cancer. So immunologically, you want to make sure that your house is clean.
Absolutely. Yeah. Somewhat of a tangent. I have a good friend of mine and a member of his family struggles a lot with like mold and airborne contaminants. So that's huge to tack that on with your services.
And it's really, a lot of people say, oh, that's no problem, or oh, I'm allergic to mold. Like, okay, but what mold? Mold is everywhere. And that's something that people don't realize. We have it in the desert for sure. And everybody's afraid of black mold. Like, yes, but there's other molds that can also make you very sick depending on what you're allergic to. I have seen people who live with black mold and they have no problem because they are so used to it. So it just depends on what kind of mold there is.
Gotcha. Interesting. And when you do your mold testing or your air quality testing, what's like the turnaround time on that?
Usually 24 hours. So we do if we want just a general mold air quality inspection, we take a sample outside because we need a baseline. Like I said, there's mold everywhere. Ideally, the numbers inside should be lower. So we take a sample outside, a sample inside, in 2 different rooms if it's the whole house mold. If it's a bigger house, we take more samples, but of course that also costs a little more. And if we already see a mold growth, microbial growth, we can take a tape sample to be more concise for that space. And then we send them to a lab, which is in North Carolina, and we send them overnight FedEx. So as long as I can make it to FedEx by 4:30 in the afternoon, and it is not a weekend, we'll have results the next day. So if it is a Thursday at 3, we will have results on Friday. If it is a Friday and I make it there, we may have results on Monday if they send it that night, or on Tuesday if they sent it on Monday night.
Gotcha. I mean, that's still a very quick turnaround time.
Yes,
absolutely.
Very much so.
Who are some choice listeners out there who you would like to contact you for their services?
I do work with several investors because they want to know, especially the ones that are just starting out. The way I was starting out, and like, I don't know what I'm doing in the beginning. So the investors that want to know, is this a good HVAC? It is included in there. Also, the people that are trying to sell their home because they want to. I have gotten several pre-listing inspections because people want to know what is going to come up in the buyer's inspection. So people don't know that their water heater is leaking because it's a small leak, and that might come up on the buyer's inspection. And now you want to be prepared for what's going to be here. Not a lot of people get regularly onto the roof. So if there's a bunch of stuff up there that you need to know about, you may want to address it before you list the house, or at least have an estimate of how much that's going to be. And we do have several roofing companies that we can call to give you actual estimates. Because again, I'm a generalist, but I'm only an inspector. I cannot tell you how much something is going to cost. I can refer for that. That way, people that are listing their home soon will have a better idea of what's needed.
So fantastic. People who are selling their homes, buying their homes, investors, real estate agents, would they also be a person that would be a good?
Absolutely. I do understand the ethical implications of telling your clients about an inspector. And what my real estate agents do is they put my name in the hat, and then your client can choose. There's work for everybody. But if the real estate agent is looking for somebody who can do it all, because they don't want to call 5 people, one for mold, one for pool, one for inspection, one for termite, I can do it all. So they don't have to be there an extra 3 hours until the next person shows up, or go there the next day because the termite person couldn't make it at the same time. We can do it all. You just give us a call, or you can book on the website and you're good to go.
That's awesome. And so I guess speaking of your website, where can we direct listeners who want to learn more about Always Faithful Home Inspection or want your services?
Yes, my website has a lot of information, including sample reports and videos that explain our services. And if people are interested, they can also book the inspection and ancillary service through there. So it's www.alwaysfaithfulhomeinspection.com.
Awesome. And listeners, I'm going to put a link to that website in the show notes. So if you want a link, look in the show notes and go talk to Celia. So we're coming to the end of our interview here. And my last question for you is, do you have any events coming up in the future that people should keep an eye out for?
I'm actually very excited to let you know that we are welcoming a new member of our team, and he's extremely capable. He is getting licensed as we speak. He has had extensive training with several other inspectors, and he's going to continue some training with us as well to get used to our systems. And we're going to be opening more slots for inspections when people need them, especially as the market changes and the interest rates will drop, hopefully. Fingers crossed. It's going to be crazy, but we will be able to respond faster to shorten inspection periods. And of course, we continue our education to stay up to date on any industry changes and practices.
Awesome. That's great. Adding on to your team, you got some real qualified people. Mm-hmm. That's fantastic. So Celia, again, thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for interviewing with me. This has been great to get to learn more about you and what you do. Is there any last things you want to say to our listeners?
I'm not sure. Just give us a call. The website has a lot of information, and you can book it there, and we can give you a quote from there. We are it. Let's go for it.
Awesome. Well, you heard it, folks. Again, thank you so much, and it was great talking with you. Folks at home, listeners, take it easy. Have a good one.
Thanks, Connor.
Thank you, Celia. And that's a wrap for another episode of T-Lokes, your go-to podcast for uncovering the untold stories of Tucson's local businesses and nonprofits. A big thank you to our incredible listeners for joining us on this journey of connection and discovery. I want to offer my deepest gratitude for our guest today, Celia Webb at Always Faithful Home Inspections, for coming on the show and serving Tucson's community. Show them some love and check out their links in the episode notes. A huge thank you to Louis Sanders at Soundhouse Publishing for making our unforgettable podcast theme music. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay connected with Tucson's vibrant business scene, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. Your feedback is invaluable, and it helps us continue bringing you engaging conversations. As we wrap up, remember that T-Lokes isn't just a podcast, it's a community. Let's keep the conversation going on social media. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, or our Discord channel and share your thoughts, suggestions, or even recommend a local business or nonprofit you'd like to see featured on the show. Thank you once again for being a part of the T-Lokes community. Until next time, stay connected, stay inspired, and keep supporting the heartbeat of Tucson. Toodaloo.